Good morning. It is Monday, and it is time for us to talk about our success habit for the month. And what we're going to talk about this month, we are actually in October of this year, which I find just mind blowing. I can't believe it's here. But what I wanted to talk about this month and what we're going to be talking about is how to keep moving forward, right? And that's with anything that is developing your persistence muscle, staying persistent, persevering. So I want to start off with my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes from Winston Churchill. Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. If you're looking for the secret ingredient for success, then stop looking. The only thing you need is perseverance, the ability to keep going no matter what. Winston Churchill. So that's what we're going to talk about. I chose to talk about it this month because for me as a business owner, we're heading into our fourth quarter. So this is the quarter where we've got the last few months to hit goals maybe that we didn't get the rest of this year. But it's also the time of year that everyone kind of gives up on the year, right? Because it's October and then November's the holidays and December's the holidays. And so things that we wanted for ourselves personally, whether it's a fitness goal, weight loss goal, starting new things, we kind of just say, the year's over and let's move into the next year. But it's not over. You still have 3 more months of this year to get things done. So that's why I wanted to do it in October, so that we don't give up on what we wanted and we don't push it off another day, and that we start working on being persistent and persevering and keep getting up failure after failure or setback after setback, so that we learn how to build that muscle. Because it's just like when you work out, all of the growth is in the 11th rep, not the 10th rep. All of the growth is when you keep going, when you keep pushing beyond what you thought you could do. Wherever you thought you could go, if you just push just a little bit more, just a little bit longer, just a little bit further, and do that every day, you're going to see the results that you've never gotten before. And it's just staying the course and getting up and then getting knocked down and getting up and getting knocked down and getting up, which is one of the reasons why I think martial arts is one of the best tools that you can use to get these visceral lessons, because we do it every day. We learn something new and we don't do it so well. I learned something new. I don't do it so well. Anything new, reverse for a long time. I didn't do it so well, but you just keep going and you keep going. And then it was a perfect example. We did promotions on Friday night at our karate school. We promote the kids to the next belt. And I have 2 students that are going into the belt that is like this far away from becoming a black belt. Like, this is the belt right before the next test that they take is going to be for their black belt. And we were talking to them about, we always have our students talk about why they're proud of themselves. And they were like, meh, I don't know. I don't know. It was just a test. It was just another test. And as we started to get them to talk, what we realized, because the parents are on the sidelines going, what? You did this. You broke 3 boards for the first time. You were sick. You did a form you didn't even know. You pushed through this, and they have become so accustomed to challenging themselves and succeeding that they didn't even think it was a thing. Now it's kind of become who they are. And that is the beauty of persistence. That is the beauty of getting up and doing it again and falling down and getting up and doing it again and learn that. Because when you do that, when you get that muscle built, then when it happens, it's not a thing. It's just, I got knocked down. Oh, I didn't do that very well. All right. And you build this resilience to challenges and resilience to obstacles that is just so beautiful. And at first, it sounded like the students were challenging me, like, your test wasn't hard enough, or I didn't really learn anything. But the more we dug into it, is that they didn't view it the same as they did when they were taking a test at a lower belt rank, which was just, in my mind, beautiful. And I will make sure that they continue to challenge themselves, because We can't go to the next level if everything is on this level, if that makes sense. So when we're talking about going to the next level, when we talk about transforming ourselves into who we're supposed to become, there has to be some growth, and there has to be some things that stretch us in ways that stretch us. And if we're not stretching ourselves, then we need to be in a community that creates that for us, if that makes sense. So that's why we're talking about how to keep moving forward. And I always try and give the human brain, we need a lot of reasons. We give ourselves a lot of reasons not to do things. And so my goal is to give you a lot of reasons to do things, especially with perseverance, because it's not comfortable and it feels yucky and it feels awkward. And it's not a feel-good feeling until you get to the other side. So I wanted to give you some other benefits that you're going to get when you commit to just persevere. When you commit to just keep going, to just keep doing the thing, regardless of what people say, regardless of what people around you are talking about, regardless, just keep doing the thing. So this is what's going to happen. I'm only going to cover, I think, maybe 3 or 4. And the exciting thing is, some of you know, some of you don't know. So I have written a book on how to punch failure in the face, not your face, how to punch failure in the face. And it's a 9-step guide to doing these things. And what we're talking about this month is actually step 9. Keep moving forward is the last thing that we talk about when you're on your growth journey. So let's talk about some of the benefits. Some of the benefits you're going to get is when you keep going, you are going to become an expert in that thing. A long time ago, before I wrote my book, I've been wanting to write a book since 2005. I'm not going to lie. I'm completely confessed to that. I've been feeling like I should write a book since 2005. I did not write. I wrote a book during the pandemic, but nobody's seen it yet. You'll see it before Christmas, but no one has seen it yet. And then I wrote the How to Punch Failure in the Face and took action on that one. But when I was researching on writing, I felt like everything had to be perfect. And I was researching like the best copywriters and the best writers and reading a lot of books on writing, Brian Tracy. And one of the things that I read was exactly that. Like when you read up on everything on that topic, when you read up, then you do become the expert. The more that I persist and the more that I persevere and push myself as an instructor, as a business owner, and as a writer, teacher, then yeah, I am the expert on that because I'm failing the most and I'm learning the most from my failures, and I'm getting up and I'm implementing changes. And so I see patterns faster. I recognize things more quickly. And so that's one of the benefits. Now, if you don't want to be an expert, it's okay, because it's still going to motivate you to try harder. When you fail, when you persist and go through, who wants to do that again? Not me. I don't want to fail. I want the success part. I want to get through the breakthrough part where everything's working, not stay in this cycle of always having to learn. So when you put yourself in that cycle of learning, failing, you get through it more quickly because no one wants to continue to learn and fail. Everybody wants to taste some success. And so it motivates you to learn faster, to get up faster, to implement faster. So another benefit. It is a sign of success. The most successful people have failed the most. And probably some of them have not only failed the most, but have failed the biggest, right? So they put themselves out there in a way that when you fail, people know. It was interesting. I was speaking with my best friend from high school this weekend, and I didn't even know that she had also written a book during the pandemic, and we were talking about what she wanted to do with it. And she said she wasn't sure because she didn't want to be seen as a failure, that she didn't want other people to view it as a failure. But my point in sharing that story with her is what I said to her: it's only a failure based on what you expect from the book, right? So failure is framed in what you think should happen. Sometimes we get so caught up in what other people think about us and our accomplishments that we forget we decide what's success or failure. We decide, we choose, we get to choose that. So The most successful people know that, and they put themselves out there. So the world may look at it like they epically failed, but maybe they learned the one thing that they needed to learn from it. And so they didn't see it as a failure, right? So persistence is a sign of success, and the most successful people fail the most. I want you to think about who for you that's true. Like who do you know that has failed the most, but it has also been a success? And I mean, I always read up, and I think I put in the book, Steve Jobs and Abraham Lincoln were the two examples that I use, because Steve Jobs got kicked out of his own company, right? He had some obstacles, he had some things, but now people look at him and they don't think about those failures. Same thing with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, I think it was after I watched the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I'm not gonna lie, that I looked up Abraham Lincoln. There was something else that made me read up on him. And when I read up on him, the things that the press said about him in his day were horrible. And his whole life story was one failure to failure to failure. And when you think about Abraham Lincoln, you don't think about any of those things, right? You think about his wins, you think about his big successes. And so I just challenge you on that level to think about someone that's important to you, that you admire, that you would like to be, and look at their journey and see how they exercise their persistent muscle. Okay. So that's the last thing I want to say. The last thing I want to say today is that you will be setting a good example. Now, that's important to some, maybe more for parents or teachers or coaches, but we are all setting an example to someone else. This is one of the biggest lessons that I really work to teach my students, that by being in a space and doing what you do, someone is watching you, and they're either being a good example or a bad one. So by being persistent and not quitting, you're being a good example from someone who might admire you. You don't even know who you are inspiring, who might be looking at you wanting to be like you. I know it's a trippy thing. When I tell this to my students, they don't believe me, but we get to demonstrate it very, very easily for them. But if you're out there being and doing something and attracting people to you, you're being an example. You can be an inspiration to anyone if we choose it. So by choosing just to persist, to do the things we feel we should do, or the things that we know we should do, we're setting a good example, and we're possibly inspiring someone else to do the same. How cool is that? All right. So that's what we're going to talk about this month. And we're going to give you some practical things to do, because talking about persistence and being persistent are two different things. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. But it's not. It takes some of the other success habits that we've talked about. It takes that showing up thing. It takes 100% philosophy. It takes it takes some of the other things that we talk about, but you will do it. You will get it done, and then you'll get to reap the rewards of it. So it's just October. Let's finish this year being more persistent and going after more than we've ever gone after before, and enjoy the process and having fun doing it. Like, let's go in with our eyes wide open, knowing it's going to be challenging, but can't wait to see where we come out at the end in December, so we can create something even more phenomenal next year. So on that note, that's what I'm going to leave you to do. Those are the things I want you to think about. Go persist with today, whatever you're doing. If you want to give up, don't. Know that you're on your way to building that persistent muscle, and that you are growing to go to the next level. Don't give up today. All right. I'm going to leave. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday to keep you motivated. All right. Bye.